Hello, this is Sunil Sunder Raj for Global Women's Sports Radio. I'm happy to welcome in Shakena Richardson, the new Director of Basketball Operations for Seton Hall University Women's Basketball. Shakena, thank you so much for taking some time out to speak with me today. I really appreciate it.
No problem. I'm happy to be here.
Hey, congratulations, Shakena. As we talked about just before we came on there, I mean, this is a homecoming, a full circle moment for you. Um, can you just, I guess, right off the bat, walk me through, just the process, how this all evolved and came together with you, again, being hired, for this position.
I mean, I feel like the goal was always to try to get back here. Sometimes you just have to wait and be patient and hope that, it kind of comes full circle faster. But I did my little assistant coaching trials. I started at College of Randolph College in Lynchburg, Virginia.
Hmm.
I did a year there, which was great. And then I was able to transition over to Albany at the College of St. Rose. So I got a lot of, basketball experience on that end. And then this opportunity opened up and I just felt like it was definitely one that I wanted to jump into, especially being back home in my, in New Jersey, my home state,
Yeah.
and all to be back at my alma mater. I'm just super excited. And I just feel like it was an opportunity that I couldn't turn down.
I just wanted to ask you, just with some of the responsibilities with this position, and of course, back I think in 2017-18 season, you were with Seton Hall as coordinator of basketball operations, but here you'll be handling, I think, assisting with the travel and meal arrangements, gear distribution, practice planning, and overall operations. Can you talk about, the position and just some of these responsibilities here, Shakina?
Yeah. Definitely not something I'm not used to. At the
Hmm.
D2 and D3 levels. You kind of put your hands into those things already. So definitely things I'm familiar with already, but definitely different shift because it's not on court.
Hmm.
And definitely going to be something new for me, especially I've always been associated with the basketball part of things, so that's definitely going to be a different dynamic. But I'm so uplifted and still excited because I'm still involved in basketball and I'm still going to be able to be on the bench and be able to see and watch and still be involved at some capacity. But those are basically the logistics, just like the operational side of things. I'm super excited to just jump into a different realm and still be connected to the sport.
Yeah. I mean, there's so much, so many exciting things to look forward to this upcoming season. I believe the team is traveling. I think, I believe to Cancun, said for a holiday tournament, and then you have the renovations of the Walsh Gymnasium. I just wanted to ask you about that. I mean, it's just again a lot of positives here, and said you see with the program, the team itself, a number of transfers. You do have returning players as well, but just wanted to get your perspective, just I said on the upcoming 2021-22 season, Shakina.
Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely excited about it. I mean, even when you go to campus, there's a lot of renovations and things that are
Yeah.
happening. Definitely making some great changes at Seton Hall University. I was able to walk past the baseball field. That was new to me. That's my first time seeing it. So definitely on the rise and the up and coming. I'm excited for the future. I think we got some really great pieces to have another great year, another
Yeah.
great season. And I think that that's the best part about it. Just wanting to continue to see the team succeed. And I think Coach B has done a great job with his staff and continuing to be at a competitive level even after I left. So I'm just excited to be back on board and to continue to witness it.
Yeah, that's all I wanted to ask you is about head coach Tony Bazzell. I said assistant coach, especially assistant coach Lauren Del Falco. I mean, there's a great staff here. Said that they have in place, but just being able to come back and said work with the head coach. Said Tony Bazzell. Can you talk about that? How special that is, Shakina?
I mean, I can't even really put words to it. Those two, and Marissa and
Yeah,
Jose as
yeah.
well, they were all there when I was there.
Hmm.
So just being able to come back to the staff that, treated me so well and, gave me the opportunity to open so many doors for me. It's just like life coming full circle. And I kind of feel like my life has always been one of these full circle journeys that, I always come back to the starting point. But to be able to, be on the staff finally with the man that, I trust wholeheartedly, who is just even a better person, off the floor than he is on the court. I'm just so grateful to be able to join the staff.
Yeah. I had to ask you, going back to what is it, 2015-16 season. I mean, I mean, your year at Seton Hall was memorable. And then, of course, being the first WNBA draft pick in, the program history, selected by the Dallas Wings. I mean, third round, 30th overall. I mean, that you put up some great numbers, said that year. And of course, the team reaching the NCAA tournament. When you look back on that season, I just had to get your take on that. How, fun that was, for you personally.
The only thing that comes to mind when I think of that year, I was like in pure happiness. That was like the first time I felt like I was back playing for the love of the game. I was, if you look at pictures, even like during that season, I was always smiling. On the court, I was just my truly one of my happiest experiences that I've had from a basketball perspective. And that's kudos to Coach Bozzella and the staff, just letting me be myself and enjoy it for what I wanted it to be. That was exactly how I wanted to wrap up my college career. Wasn't even going in with the mentality of having a professional career. I thought that had surpassed me. I didn't think that was something I could even do.
Yeah.
So I just went into it with the mindset of just being happy, having fun, and it opened up some amazing doors that I'm forever grateful to, be cemented in, Seton Hall history.
Yeah, I mean, all Big East, Arnold mentioned Big East All Tournament team, all met, bats already. So, I mean, the accolades, said that you earned, that season. I mean, were just, tremendous. Can you talk about how, again, how much that meant to you, said Shakena?
Yeah, I only like bragging on myself, but I don't
I
like
can
to
ask
brag.
you about that.
Yeah, it's so funny because as I'm getting older, like I
Yeah,
don't have the basketball, the sport to prove myself because that's like that's how I used to brag. I used to play
yeah,
basketball
yeah,
and let my game do the talking. But now I'm older, so everybody wants me to talk about the things that I've done.
yeah,
But I would just say just going to the right place. I went to the right system. He let me flourish within his system.
yeah.
And, he was just upfront honest to what he needed and the expectations that he had for me. And it was just one of those relationships that flourished and it bloomed. And now it's just growing each and every day.
Yeah. I mean, it's different, when you get to tournament, the Big East and of course the NCAA tournament. But I mean, talk about those experiences, playing in those tournaments. And of course, the Big East is synonymous. But, as far as, the NCAA tournament, that's just, taking it, several notches up, Shakena.
Yeah, I feel like any collegiate player, I feel like once you do experience it, I feel like I was lucky in my lifetime, throughout my college career. I only missed the tournament one time.
Mhm.
So I was able to like experience that at very high levels a few times in my career. So it's every collegiate player's, I think, dream, to make it to NCAAs. And when you get to that tournament time, just the different atmosphere, the competitive spirit, it's different.
Yeah.
It's a buzz in the air. You're playing for something way bigger than your team now. You're playing for your whole school. You're playing for rep. It's just deeper. So to make it to that level, at this program was special. I wish we could have made it further. I was truly hurt when we lost to Creighton. I think Creighton hurt it more than the NCAA loss, but they both hurt. But it was it was exciting times for sure.
Okay, walk me through, I said the WNBA draft and, I said hearing your name being called, it said, from, Neptune, New Jersey and, from, Seton Hall. I mean, just what that moment was like, for you and your family as well.
Oh, a lot of emotions. I never forget, it was my brother's birthday. It was April 14th. And I just remember being in the room. We were all just sitting around and just watching the TV. Like I said, I didn't really have any expectations about it. I know I had went to the combine. I had a really good combine. When the list had came out, I was like, okay, well, it's a chance that it could happen. But never did I fully sell myself on actually getting drafted. So I just went into it with an open mind. Obviously, it was a little bit of nerves there because, of course, you want it to happen. But if it didn't, I would have been equally as happy because I know I had opportunities to either go to training camps or overseas play. So I was going to be pursuing my dream regardless. The draft really just meant it a different type of level of pure happiness for me. Like I was just like, you talking about hard work and the times that you put in ever since I was like a baby. This is what the dream was all about. And even at times when I thought it wasn't even foreseeable, it still came to fruition. So just a super amazing day for me, for my family, for everybody that's been a part of the journey. It was just really rewarding in the end. And it was a lot of emotion from all parts. I think we were all just like, understanding the journey that I had. It was like, it was an emotional day.
Yeah. I reading the notes. Yeah, I think you played in the preseason, for the Dallas Wings, and then you went overseas. Actually, I think played in Lithuania. Can you talk about your time? Of course, in the preseason as well as playing overseas, Shakena.
Yeah, for sure. Well, preseason was definitely an adjustment. These girls are bigger, faster, stronger.
Yeah.
And if I'm being completely honest, I don't think I was prepared. I know I can play basketball at all levels, like I can compete,
Mhm.
but I don't think me not having a lot of, collegiately, I only played 1 year. If I'm being realistic, was my year at Seton Hall. Like I played a legit tenure of a season, was at
Yeah.
Seton Hall. And I just don't really think that I had enough play time to really like really jump in it and be able to sustain the level of play with these girls. And it was a great experience. I think that I had some high competition to go against to make that roster, in Skylar Diggins, RC Sims. It was a really, really great training camp. And I feel like I brought it to him. I think I had some really competitive spirit, but in the end, I think it was more so me looking at it as from the experience outlook. Like
Mhm.
this is going to be something that can really propel my career into going overseas. Because honestly, that's where my mind was kind of going, because I knew I had a true opportunity to fulfill that passion and that dream. And once I was released from Dallas, I started to prepare for overseas. And I remember because it was crazy, it was taking a long time for me to get placed with a team. And I finally landed with Lithuania after I had an agent and all of that. And that summer, I had ended up hurting my ankle. So I tried to play on it and tried to, push through, but didn't realize how bad it was. So when I went to Lithuania, I was performing not to my caliber because I was injured, and they kind of like they kind of seen that as well. So we just decided to like send me home to go get X-rays and things like that. And then I had got an MRI, and it showed that I had tore a ligament in my ankle, so I had to get surgery.
Okay. All right. I just have a couple more. Can't thank you for the time, Shakina. I wanted to, you talked about your previous experiences. I want to ask you at Randolph College, Lynchburg, Virginia, under head coach Steve Lanford. Said you had quite a bit of, said responsibilities there. I wanted to, one of the things that stood out, and that actually Seton Hall did this year with community service. I think in Newark, and especially with the COVID-19 pandemic. I wanted to ask you just some of the study. I mean, you were heavily involved recruiting, scouting. How that experience. If you want to talk about that, first experience with Randolph.
You want me to talk about community service, or you want me to talk about
Yeah,
recruit?
both like the community service aspect, and then like working there at Randolph under head coach Steve Lanford. Yeah.
Oh yeah, Coach Steve was great. I feel like he was definitely someone that was trying to put me in a position to, grow in this field. He really let me take lead in a lot of things, especially on the side of like scouts. Like, I was the main person that was creating the scouts
Yeah.
of our opponents, and then like, I was overseer of all, gear distribution, things like that, and our travels. But as
Yeah.
far as on the court, he let me do a lot of things that was like individuals. I had all overseeing power of our posts, our guards. So I was really had like well balanced of on the court play. And I really think I grew as a coach in that aspect of really
Mhm.
just understanding how to like, focuses on our things and how we can incorporate that into our live play. So I kind of grew in that aspect. And then he like gave me the responsibility of community service,
Yeah.
which I really do love and enjoy to do because I feel like it's important to stay connected into your community at all points in
Yeah.
time. So I'm really big on being interactive with our youth. So I always try to like make sure that we centered it around doing things with our youth. So we used to do a lot of trips to schools, local schools, and just
Yeah.
interacting with them, just being role models,
Yeah.
and just having figures to help them in the classroom to inspire them to continue to push and take school seriously. And those were just kind of the things that I was doing.
Yeah. And then, of course, you mentioned before, assistant coach at the College of St. Rose in Albany, New York, under head coach Whitney Edwards. They said if you want to, just speak on that as well, Shakina.
It was a great experience. I feel like
Yeah.
every time I took another job, 'cause I only had two, but
Yeah.
I feel like it was a level up in every aspect of it. She gave me a lot more responsibility,
Yeah.
and I think I grew in so many different levels. I think that I learned so much from her, and I'm appreciative of that experience. She definitely pushed me beyond limits, and I think it's preparing me to take on this role moving forward. Just giving me the confidence just to go at things and continue to keep my own perspective,
Mhm.
but just having the balance of what's necessary and what's needed.
Yeah.
And I really do appreciate her, for the opportunity. I didn't expect it to be as short as it was, but at the
Mhm.
same time, I know she's really, happy for me to continue to advance, and I wish her nothing but the best, in her endeavors. I think she's gonna do a great job at the College of St. Rose.
Yeah. Uh, you said from Neptune, New Jersey, attended Neptune High School. You flourished on the court. I read, said, what number four, said rated number 4 point guard and number 18 prospect with ESPN. When you think back to Neptune High School, what comes to your mind, Shakina?
It's nothing but great memories,
Yeah.
honestly. I ride past my school quite often,
Okay.
and as I'm getting older, I'm getting super emotional now. But
Yeah.
it's just so many great memories, so many fond memories of childhood friends. I think the high school experience is so special because it's with people that you grow up with since you were like 10. So those experiences that we share, that's something that we can always laugh at and look back and just be proud about. I think our 10-year anniversary just passed of us winning the TOC, being one, I think the number one, the first public school to do so.
Okay.
So that's just so it's special, to be able to achieve those things with longtime childhood friends. So just being back home, that's why just the whole aspect of me returning home and just being able to come back to Neptune and see my school often, it just brings a whirlwind of emotion. So I'm super excited.
I know you attended Rutgers and Florida State as well. You have a bachelor's degree in criminology from Florida State, and I think you're pursuing a master's at Seton Hall in strategic communications. I mean that's terrific. Can you talk about those experiences, but like especially being able to further your education as well here, Shakina, and that's
Yeah,
important as well. The student, I wanted to ask you the student athlete component as well.
yeah. Um, I did receive my master's from Seton Hall. That's
Oh, okay, okay. Sorry
Yeah,
about that.
I
Yeah.
received those in 2018, but
Okay.
I
Okay.
was able to get my criminology degree, my bachelor's degree at Florida State, which
Okay.
was very tough. They have a really, really strong criminology program,
Okay.
and that's one of the reasons why I wanted to jump into it. Not necessarily that I wanted to go in that field, but I just
Yeah.
knew that if I wanted to go in that direction, that I would have the backing of a strong, you
Hmm.
know, that program was very strong. So I
Yeah.
did succeed in doing that, and I had a minor in I minored in psychology.
Oh, okay.
So
All right.
when I made the decision to come to Seton Hall to pursue my graduate, I wanted to go in communications because I felt like it was such a broad area where I can kind of tackle and jump into any probably realm that I will possibly want,
Mhm.
and I just wanted to really challenge myself because I know, like from a athletic standpoint, I'm great at communicating. I know that I could speak about basketball for hours. But I wanted to really challenge myself and do something different, and it allowed me to do that. I had to present in front of a 30 people, 40 people for my final presentation, and I just think that it really helped me grow in so many aspects. And I'm just like learning my voice and just continuing to get confident
Yeah.
all around the board.
When it comes to the game, women's college basketball, just wanted to get your opinion, just how it's evolved over the years since you played.
Mhm.
What made it so enjoyable as far as coaching? Said being on the sidelines. If you just want to comment on that, Shakina.
I mean, I'm super excited about where women's basketball is headed. I think the competitive nature of it is really starting to grow, and I think it's starting to grow on others. And I think we have a lot of people that are advocating, even at the higher levels, with the WNBA, that are really advocating and pushing women's basketball forward. I see
Hmm.
that, people are fighting at the WNBA are fighting for, like paid as like a little bit more
Yeah.
decent than what it has been in the past.
Hmm.
So I'm just excited for the future and what's to come. I think we got some really great, great, great athletes that are coming up playing women's basketball.
Yeah.
And it's really great to see it, even on the team that I'm about to be a part of, the staff,
Yeah.
just some great talent. And I think as not even as a former player, but a fan of the sport, you love to see it continue to thrive and strive, and do well. So it's definitely exciting times for women's basketball. And I'm just continuing to look forward to it because the last few Final Fours have been amazing,
Yeah.
as far as competitive nature and about the playing field finally starting to even out where you feel like, UConn is not the main one anymore.
Hmm. Hmm.
Like we don't know who can get, now we're starting to see upsets happen,
Yeah.
a 10 is beating a 7 in the in the NCAA championship. So
Yeah.
I'm just loving the evolution of it. And I'm loving like how you got kids that are not just trying to go to these big name schools because that's not always the answer.
Yeah. No, it was great to see you, on network TV, having games, NCAA tournament games, and just the coverage it received, this year especially, and then with all the social issues as well, impacting the game. It was great to see, I said women out in the forefront. I'm wondering, when going back to you when you were growing up, was it primarily basketball that you played? Any other sports that you played as well? And then when you knew that basketball was your true passion, Shakina?
That's a great question. I don't really get this one, but to
Okay.
be all honest, my dad honestly started us with tennis.
Okay.
But tennis is expensive, one, and I just think that it was a little bit too much time consuming. I feel like the focuses are more so basketball, football, baseball. Those are like kind of the more normal
Yeah.
sports around. So I guess he kind of started to see that we kind of cling to basketball a little bit more and it was coming a little bit more natural. So he started to push us into that. But we definitely were training in tennis initially. And then it went to basketball. And then I started to like, dabble in certain things. Like I ran cross country when I was in middle school to my freshman year, I think, because my dad didn't want me to get injured at that point. But that was for like stamina reasons. I was really good until this one woman, young woman came along named AJ Wilson. She came along and started shattering all kinds of records, who was just made the Olympic team this year. I'm super proud of her. So shout out to AJ, another Neptune native. But um, yeah, I also played soccer too. So it was
Okay.
track, soccer, cross country, and basketball.
Yeah, it's great. Like, I talked to athletes before how like one sport can impact another one, like as far as the training is concerned, and how it's year round now. Like, there's no days off now, like especially of course even now when it comes to college basketball, as you talked about family, your dad. Can you talk about the support, from your family, said you know, through your journey, here in athletics, Shakina?
Oh, absolutely. I think the number one thing with me, and I think while I've been able to accumulate so much success in my life, and not even just from basketball perspective, but just in life in general, is because of my foundation. And I always refer to them as my foundation because we got to all start somewhere. But they've always kept me grounded. I have great parents, amazing parents. Parents that I've been able to lean on during my toughest times, and they build me up when I don't believe in myself. My mom has always been like the education pusher. You know what I'm saying? She's Ghanaian, so she's really strict when it comes to academics. So she's always been the one that kept me online and in line as far as, making sure that academics are always there and not just trying to pass by, but to like exceed expectation. I didn't just want to get a C because that's passing. I wanted to get an A because I wanted to shatter things. I always wanted to be an overachiever. So, I had the perfect balance of parenting. My mom was the academics and my dad was like straight up sports, keeping us focused, what I'm saying, giving us the way of the land of how you're supposed to work hard and just the tools to succeed. I think I had a phenomenal, supporting cast and my siblings as well, as far as competitive spirits. And my little brother, I tell him to this day, like, and my sister, my older sister, they all played a part in pushing me to become what I am. I've learned so much from my older sister. I learned from all of her mistakes. She came before me, and I think I was able to learn everything that she did wrong. That's why I didn't want to be the oldest, because the oldest have the most pressure.
Yeah,
But I learned so much from her mistakes and things like that, and it allowed me to go ahead and perfect as much as I could the craft that I love so much.
that's wonderful. Final question is, I think it's important, what your advice is for younger women, who wanted, it said, break into, either the coaching ranks or ascend to, uh, again, a position in athletics as well. I'm wondering what, your advice would be to them, said, trying to move up the ladder, Shakina.
So I can answer this in two parts. So as a player, the advice that I would give is to always follow your gut, always trust who you are and what you're capable of. Just understand that, if you're being sought at the collegiate level, obviously there's something that you're doing correctly. So just remember to stay confident in who you are and not to lose sight of who you are, remain humble and just work hard. Listen to your coaching staff, buy into the system, and it will pay off dividends in the long run if you continue to just you know, keep that mindset and that mentality of respect first, remaining humble and then working hard. That would be the advice that I would give to the younger kids playing. And then as far as younger women that's trying to make their way in the land of the coaching realm and working their way up in administration, I would say trust the process. It doesn't happen overnight. And the first job may not be something that's intriguing or looks enticing, but if you want to work your way up, it's okay to get it out the mud a little bit. It's all right to start at the bottom and work your way at the top. Everybody don't get handouts. That's not everybody's journey. So don't be afraid of the journey, the work in it, and just continue to stay consistent and stay steady, and then you'll get to where you want to be.
Okay, Shakina, the floor is yours. If I've left anything out, you're more than welcome to add. I said I definitely want to give you, I said,
Yeah. No, honestly, I think it was a great interview. Thank you for having me on. I think we touched on almost everything that we
okay.
possibly could have. So it was definitely great. Like I said, I'm just happy to be back. I'm looking forward to continue to push Seton Hall in any capacity that I possibly can as far as the women's program go. And I'm just excited for what's ahead. And I'm excited to be here.
One thing I wanted to quickly, it almost skipped past me is support from the administration, as well. Like, it goes in hand with the administration and athletics. I wanted to just quickly ask you about that, because that's just as critical, Shakina,
As far as support from.
from the administration, it
Yeah,
said at Seton Hall. Yeah.
yeah. I mean, it's always been like an amazing, amazing type of a connection that we've had from the very beginning.
Yeah.
Like I said, I spent 1 year, at this school as an athlete, but I swear when I come back and I'm around, it seems like I've been here my whole entire career. You would think that I spent 4 seasons here. So it's definitely a family oriented type of vibe here at Seton Hall, which I love. I see so many different, like so many familiar faces that were here when I wasn't. I
Mhm.
mean, when I was here, there's
Yeah.
so many familiar faces. So when I came back, everybody's warm and welcoming. Like I still remember the lady at the desk. Her name is Mary, and she remembered me. And it's just it's special. And it's just an exciting, a great atmosphere to be a part of, a great, staff to be a part of. And like I said, it's full circle. So it's always amazing to come back home and be embraced as such.
Terrific. Hey, Shakina, again, congratulations, as said, on the new position as Director of Basketball Operations. And, as said, wishing you continued success. And again, looking forward to the 2021-22 season.
Got you. Thank you so much.